I said, everyone in game, they have this inner game moment. You'll go through it too, bro. And I'm gonna tell you, get the fuck out of it. Where guys are like, dude, it's not all about getting. But I'm just like, it's not. But if you're still not getting, it's so interesting. It's not about the validation you get from. That's what they're trying to do. So this guy's 40. A lot of my clients who go through this epiphany, they're like, oh, I feel, because what they're doing is it's not part of their identity. I always talk to you guys about this. I'm not trying to be, you know how you get jacked and then you get fat again, and you get jacked and you get fat, or business, you have this hustle mentality. These past 2 months, you've been Instagram posting every day. Are you a Colin who is an influencer and you start acting like that and you keep doing it until you become it, or the results show, right? Like you just start getting more followers and getting all these girls all of a sudden through Instagram? Or are you the old Colin who doesn't do that? So the issue when it comes to game is they start doing all this and they're like, oh yeah, I'm attractive, I got girls. And they're like, this is not me. I'm putting in too much effort to get girls. I'm a confident man. I should just attract girls. And I always make this joke. Who do you think is the happiest men or the most confident men in the world, where they're truly detached from people's opinions? They feel like if you look at them, you respect them automatically. They're like truly happy with their lives. Like you could just tell they're confident, they're detached, they don't need validation from anything. What people in the world or men in the world are like that? Like the first thing you could think of. The easiest answer is a monk, right? Like a monk or a pastor who give up the flesh or whatever and they don't want to have. But then you see this a lot, right? A lot of these guys want to have this inner game. At least my personal opinion is when I work with these guys and they fall off for a little bit, nothing changed. So their inner game changed. People who do psychedelics, right? Ayahuasca, they do these drugs. And then you come out as a better person, or say, you know what you truly want. Yeah, dude, this is how I see spirituality. If I follow Christian to a T, I should not base my validation and love for the flesh, right? But I obviously still do tendencies where I lust, I look at hot girls, I'm like, these hot. So I get it. Like, I understand the whole spiritual part. And I do think whatever religion you're in, Muslims, Christianity, they do the whole sacrifice. These girls, they go through a spiritual journey, but they're partying, right? I saw a spiritual lady doing OnlyFans. She's, I'm helping people be open to their sexuality. By me showing their body and talking to men, I'm actually helping them become better men. They're paying a subscription to watch you like be naked and watching you talk naked. Everyone tries to rationalize this, but you gotta understand, everyone has their own version of it. But I know one thing about game. You can't just sit there, meditate, and manifest confidence, and then you walk out to the real world and girls will come to you. It just doesn't happen. It's like, you said you played this video game, Fortnite. What was the video game you played a lot? Okay, so League of Legends, you play a character, right? You make a character, and then you go out and you have to play the character, right? And then, was there a time whenever you stopped playing? Were there times where you feel like it got hard or a little bit difficult or it just got boring? Would you say you learned how to play, but even in the beginning, before you learned, it was boring, but you got hooked once you became a little bit good at it, right? You start seeing results in the game, but then you're reaching levels and you're not seeing as much results because you're probably leveling up or something. So that's the same thing with game. Guys get to this point where they get certain results and they have this epiphany, I'm being fake, I'm not myself. And they go this journey like, I'm gonna be more spiritual, I'm gonna do drugs and stuff. And then they have this epiphany, what I really want is marriage, what I really want is love, what I really want is validation for myself. But yet you put them at a bar and tell them to quote approach it, they can't approach it. Why is that? Because I think that's the human fallacy, that we think if we just fix everything inside. Yes, it's true. If you change how you see things, the world will change. I agree. But I do think sometimes there's reactional survival methods where you're always gonna look at a girl and you wanna put babies in her, right? Because of evolution. You're never gonna look at a hot girl as a guy. Even a priest and Dalai Lama are gonna look at a hot girl and be like, she, like, yeah, but 2 days ago, bro, I saw one of those most beautiful women I've seen in my life. And bro, I don't care how many fucking spiritual meditative guys, every guy went like this to her. Every guy, even girls. So there's an evolutionary standpoint where I do think, like, whatever spirituality you believe in, people, and I think you're gonna go through this too, they have this epiphany where they're like, oh, I'm gonna meditate about life. Is this what I truly want? And we do this in business, we do this about everything. You start questioning like your results or your journey, but then it's really about, it's because you haven't gotten what you wanted. Think about it, right? Even money. For me, until I find out what I truly want with the money, what's the money I want? Billionaire, millionaire, multimillionaire? I should pause and reflect. How much money do I want? Do I want money? Do I want to pay taxes? Make money first, keep doing it, and while you're doing it, ask yourself those questions. So you keep taking action. Before you want to stop gaming and not getting laid, first have the skill to get laid. Then any given moment, how do I get a girl? I go out, I DM a girl, I do this. But a lot of these guys, they stop it before it becomes part of their identity. So learn how to be attractive before you stop and take all these drugs. It's like Tom Brady. He has every right to retire because he won 7 championships. But guys like him, it was hard for him to retire. I only did it because I always try to seek validation from other people. So I was like, fuck this shit. I'm not doing that anymore. But then when you see someone who's killing it or someone who's outworking you, that's when you were like, man, should I work harder on my business? So it's an interesting thing about life, right? Guys want something and they end up settling, but then they see something and they either covet it and they're like asking themselves, is that jealousy or envy or whatever? I don't know. Life's interesting. Okay, so today we're going to talk about something different. Yeah, I tried that with YouTubers, but it's funny how their advice always comes very strategic. Someone told me, I forgot who, but he said something like, the funny thing about these content creators, at first they were just doing what they love. So they got big because they started doing what they love. I started doing that, and I don't know if I'll go viral from it. With you and all the other clients, the issue is you guys are doing it for an outcome when that outcome doesn't come because you're trying to do something that everyone's trying to do. We're all trying to go viral. We're all trying to make money. But we don't know. That's the issue with the hook. And I realized I don't know what people want to hear. So right now, I'm doing stuff that I want to do. I just did one about my dad, and it was emotional. I realized all content creators start first doing what they love. Even Logan Paul and Jake Paul, I heard their video. They just did Vines because they love doing it and they started getting paid for it. One of my viral videos, I've been trying to make money through my Instagram and my videos haven't been hitting as well. I'm not doing as many thirst traps. Those videos that I'm posting, they're giving an emotional impact to the people who are actually trying to sign up. I had a coaching call with this girl, is the inner game stuff I'm working on. So in terms of your game, it's like, figure out first what you like. I heard this quote. I was doing an arrow post. And this is something I'm personally recommending. There's a guy I respect, Cameron Haynes. He's David Goggins' best friend and competitor. He said, when you shoot the arrow, everyone focus on the arrow, but you feel the energy of the arrow and also respect the energy of the bow. And then make sure you also respect the energy of the archer. So after you release the arrow, you still have the bow. The bow is the foundation. What I mean is Face app, AI, all this stuff. You yourself has to be cool. So it's like my abs, right? As much as my AI videos are cool, imagine I didn't have abs and I created fake abs on the AI. It wouldn't look as cool. So I always tell my clients, when you guys are learning, no, but that's something I realized, right? You yourself has to be like cool. And this is something that I just realized, trust me, this is going to hit harder 5 years from now when everyone's using AI. We're going to almost become like a cyberpunk, where everyone's going to put all these gear, metals, and AI creation. Social media is now getting to the point where everyone's going to create content. Now everyone should be creating content. That's why I'm going so hard on this. I'm trying to do the vlogs, but vlogs are so hard, at least the long form. So then if everyone's going to do this, everyone has access to AI, how do you stand out? The more authentic you are before you do AI, now you're going to separate yourself from the best. So I realized when I'm going to these places like Bali and stuff, I realized you just have to be attractive in real life. But I also see that as a video game. I see myself, my body, as like an AI character. Like, how do I add to this? And I'm not saying add steroids or all these other kind of drugs, but you ever game drunk versus not drunk? Have you realized that a lot of guys, when they are successful with alcohol, they tend to reward alcohol and say alcohol played a big part in their game. They feel loose, they feel more confident. Did you know that like when you do fail with alcohol though, like the people who fail with it, they don't include alcohol in their game. I have one client who thought he was getting girls because he's more confident. He's like, I'm more fun when I go out. He was saying that alcohol makes him more of a fun person. But alcohol doesn't do that. It actually is a depressant and it makes you tired, but initially it makes you a little bit wobbly. So it's something I realized that even your Instagram, find a way. And I think you were trying to say, I want the hook. And I said this about your date routine. Remember the date experience? I always say, always do date experience because the experience itself will make the girl have fun, even if she doesn't like you. If the experience is fun, she'll somehow associate the experience with you and be like, I'm having fun. Oh, I'm with you. That's why I'm having fun too. Sometimes girls told me that. Like they literally had no energy towards me, but we do this cool experience and they're like, oh, that was fun. Yeah. And you could tell her whole vibe changed. So I realized, what if in the final point of attraction, you yourself is the date? So you and her could sit at a park bench. You and her could just be sitting on a couch and you look at her, you tease her. You look at her and she's just, everything about you is an experience for her. And girls call that love and emotion. I call that game. So when it comes to social media, I think we always miss this point. I'm like, I have to do something extra. I have to do something cool. But I keep forgetting that sometimes my followers and my supporters are coming to see me, not another hot Asian guy. So I think that's something I want to put into you. You have a game where it's very fun, very interesting. Obviously, you do the IOI game, but that doesn't mean that every guy who does IOI game get all the girls. You have a way, once a girl likes you, You can spike it up so fast. You know how to make them laugh. You don't give a fuck, and you have this flow state. So first, you got to break that down though, because I can't break it down. If you could find a way to break down what makes you attractive and use that through social media without trying to change yourself, I think that's what's going to make you blow up. Have you realized that? Sometimes life rewards you if you just go do it. Like you just go do stuff. I had to tell one of these guys say no because he kept on messaging me about coaching, and we did one coaching call. He didn't sign up for anything, and he just kept messaging me. I was a good guy, but I got to set boundaries. Once I set boundaries, I realized everyone's scared to try stuff. But once you set boundaries, or even with girls, I realize we're scared to try stuff because we don't want to lose the girl. But actually, you need to not focus on the girl. You got to focus on your game, right? Do you know how sometimes you realize, like, okay, big example, pay for girls all the time. You keep dating the same girl sometimes, and you got to keep paying for her. Have you ever realized that I don't do this? I am scared to lose her, so I don't tell her, hey, how about you start paying for stuff? But you got to do it in a smart way. I realized a lot of guys complain about it, but never actually take the initiative to give that boundary. So why not ask her, hey, just letting you know, do you mind paying for some stuff a couple times? And then they have a bad experience where everyone's like, oh, guys are losing. Even if a girl makes money, you should be a provider. But if you don't feel like it and you're willing to lose a girl, why not try with the girl who you're willing to lose? Because I realize we're very risk averse when it comes to dating. So I think I'm going to try this new shit, dude. I'm going to first find the smart way to say it. But if I'm dating a girl and I'm paying for stuff all the time, I'm going to either have her cook for me, but you know what I'm saying? I'm going to start taking more risks, dude. Once they get a girlfriend, like, I've been paying for her all the time. Should I keep paying for her? How do I change her behavior? And I always call it, because I don't want them to lose a girl because of me. They're going to be like, you told me to do this and I lost her. So I was like, well, you should try to plant the seed, talk to her after sex. But now I'm going to just give them boundaries. And if she leaves, because I was going to get pissed off anyways because I'm going to pay for her all the time. My last ex, bro, it got expensive, man. Dude, I'm not going to lie. Dating is an expense, bro. You know how you're saying you're spending a lot of money for Latin tour right now? Date a girlfriend. Imagine Latin America, Mexico with a girlfriend. If you do the math, you spent $2,000 for the coaching and another $1,500 for extra expenses. That's how much you're going to spend with a girl. $2,000 to maybe, because think about it. Yes, you're paying for the lodging, but you pay for her plane ticket too, right? And you pay for her food. You pay for the tours, most likely. She might pay for her stuff, but if she's like a really hot girl, you know what? These tours are cheaper than taking a girl to vacation. It really is. If you do the math, the dinners are more expensive. We only do a nice dinner. Most of the weekdays we do cheap grocery dinners, right? We go to Subway and we eat cheap, and then we only do one fancy night. Every night you're going somewhere with a girl. It's a decent restaurant. Have you realized that? It's crazy, dude. I love how we're thinking of new ideas. I think you just got to take risks. Keep taking risks. Keep doing this stuff because I feel like you're figuring this out. Yeah. So that's the thing about games. It's very interesting how you play your video game and you say the easy part is cold approach. You know how hard it's for me to go out to the club and approach a girl? It's not that I'm scared. I will do it. It's the effort and consistency. There's like the one time where we can actually become famous or have some kind of status without spending a lot of money. You don't have to be rich. Yeah. Remember that one guy who just created a selfie of an Indian dude that's himself and he made so much money from that? He literally just made a selfie and made a fucking NFT and he became a multi-millionaire from that. But there is no success formula when it comes to content in the beginning. Later on, you have to copy. Now I heard the more authentic you are, you do better. Yeah, it's identity shifting. Yep. You got to be meditating, build your confidence. I guess this is the true fake it till you make it. That's why girls try to fake it. The worst thing you could be called as a guy is fake. Like girls, I don't mind hiding it. Their value really comes from looks. So they have to. They want to make themselves look prettier because that's the main thing. But a guy, if you have fake abs, even, dude, when a guy uses steroids, right? And then he wants to hide that instead of telling people, yo, I use steroids, right? Because you don't want to be like, you didn't work hard for it. Even though like everyone on steroids, you work hard for it, but they don't want to give you that credit. Guys hate that, right? So I think that's the difference between guys and girls is like, we don't want to be called fake. So we work extra hard to make sure we look how we look. You know what I'm saying? So I think you're doing a good job. Like I said, you're becoming more attractive. That's all that matters. You know what I mean? It's okay though. That's the whole point. Everything's cringe until you actually get good at it. So everything's cringe until you become famous. Everyone's like, yo, you're still cringe. Everyone's like, oh, Danny, you're still thirst trapping. And then everyone called me out on my Instagram. They're like, whoa, now you have followers. And now they're saying something good. I just realized this. That's why you got to really focus on yourself. Like even my YouTube videos, people might say it's cringe. It's not good. Because I'm literally posting every day. But it's a good story. I actually teared up in that video because I was talking about how I respect my dad so much more now. But once you attract higher quality girls, you need to have better game. In Latin America, he's going to do well again. But
You need to show them something different. You can't just have looks or a good Instagram now either. This is the basics. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. Just get the basics done, right? Having a good Instagram now is a basic. I think every good dating coach will tell you that. When I see a dating coach and he doesn't have a good Instagram, I'm like, something's not right. How can you teach game and not talk about Instagram? That's a new way of DMing girls. I feel like celebrities are using it, right? So I don't know. That's something that worries me sometimes when a coach says he doesn't think Instagram is necessary for game. You know what I mean? It troubles me because I'm like, wait, that's where all the hot girls are. If they're not using it, how else are you going to text or seduce them? But I'm not always right, but I just feel like there has to be something going on there.